All right. So thank you so much, everyone. So thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on tonight. So my name is Sharon Gleeson. I'm a certified health coach, and I had the pleasure of meeting Sabine through an online networking group, actually, that we're a part of for women. And I loved what she was all about. We connected really quickly, and I know that there's a lot of people have problems with sleep, whether that's falling asleep, whether it's staying asleep. And she very, very kindly has offered to do this workshop tonight for us, which is huge. So really grateful to you, Sabine. I don't think we could be hearing from anyone better with your graduate certificate in sleep research and studying your PhD. So we're going to jump into it. So tonight, we will go through the workshop, and what we'd love you to do is, if you've got questions, if you could pop them into the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat. If there's something that I think we should jump into and address right now, we will. Otherwise, we'll hold it until the end of the presentation. So we have allowed some time at the end. So thanks to everyone for jumping on, and thank you so much, Sabine, and I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Sharon. It's my pleasure. So I have read some questions that came in through the Jot form, and these will all be answered during the seminar. So if you have questions afterwards, yes, please spontaneously write them down into the chat box in case you forget them later on, so that I can answer those for you. And if I can't answer them, I can find out for you in case I'm not sure about it. So this is a workshop which will help you to discover the game-changing techniques for optimal sleep. The reason we have created it is because of the huge amount of information that I have. I want to bring it out into the public. And when we connected, Sharon thought, wow, it would be amazing to have a seminar on it. So here I am. And I do want to say, though, I'm not a doctor. I am a PhD student in transition. And that doesn't mean I can give you health advice, so to speak, but I can share what I've observed in my study in the field that I think a lot of people don't realize, and is super, super interesting. So like I said here, consult your preferred healthcare provider if you're going to make major changes, or if you're going to say, oh, well, Sabine said this and that. So double check that and adjust it to your lifestyle and what works for you. So I'm going to move my little face. So I'm going to have to put that here. So what you'll get from today's sleep workshop, I highly recommend that you get a pen and paper, by the way, because you will see a lot of things that are interesting, and it may not always be fun to keep watching a recording, and a recording may only be available for 7 days as well. There are different ways in sharing that. So if you see something interesting, take a screenshot or write something down. I certainly would recommend it. I'm going to give you a lot of stuff tonight. So you will have empowerment so that you can thrive more by realizing how sleep actually benefits. I think we all know sleep is powerful, but we don't realize really how powerful, because I always knew it. But when I researched into it, I was like, this is the number one thing everyone needs to think about. If you don't sleep well, it needs to be your priority, basically, because nothing else in life will function the same way. You could eat the healthiest food, it won't get absorbed because you are not rested and you're not digesting and you're not repairing at night and integrating. But I won't get into it now. So I will draw information which is both scientific, but also it comes from my yoga background, which is linked around relaxation, and that the body optimizes itself when we actually learn to de-stress. There'll be tips and fun things you may already know, but you might hear them for the second, third, or fifth time and go, you know what, I'm going to implement it because it's worth it. And so that's basically what I'm saying in this slide. It's going to be a nice broad spectrum. So the question is also noticing for yourself, do you wake up refreshed? Some people don't really think about that, and they think, oh, I wake up okay, and I drink a cup of tea or coffee, and then I get going. Well, when you actually wake up, the aim is to wake up refreshed, even though I know it's very difficult for most people. So how do you wake up how do you feel when you wake up in general? Be honest with yourself and perhaps put it in the chat box if you're up for it. Do you wake up ever refreshed? When was the last time you woke up refreshed? I would love to know when you just woke up and you felt, wow, I just feel completely replenished. So maybe put something in the chat box. Yes, were you saying something, Sharon? No, okay. All good. All right. And then the other one is, how easily do you fall asleep? Here I'm going to share the scientific perspective. And by the way, science is always still changing, right? So it's never it's stuck in concrete. So if I say now, it generally is agreed that on average, you should take about maximum 30 minutes to fall asleep. After that, it becomes a problem. That is what science is believing right now. And there will be exceptions if you're sick or if you've got some stress going on. But on average, an average day, ideally, it should happen within the first 30 minutes. Is this what's happening for you? Then awesome. Some people can just go to bed and that's it. That's a gift. But I will teach you and tell you, if you want to change it, how to do that. How long do you remain asleep is the next thing. You might fall asleep quickly and then you wake up at 3 and at 4 and at 5 and at 6. Are some of you there watching and listening to this that you might want to put it in the chat or just make note to yourself? Yeah, actually, when was the last time I slept through the night? Because there were people that said that they wake up all the time, and that is incredibly exhausting. And I have a solution for that. If I forget to mention it, please ask me, because I have a lot of solutions to a lot of problems. Okay, so let's continue from here. So this is the awareness. I'm going to make overheads where I can keep my image in the same spot. Benefits of optimized sleep. Just becoming aware of what you actually get if you optimize your sleep. You can look at it as a gift to yourself rather than another awful thing to add to your to-do list. So you will get more energy, more youthfulness. There is an increase in human growth hormone release if you get more sleep. You will regulate your weight, because the less we sleep, the more we gain weight. Absolute fact. Some people are just losing weight by regulating their sleep. Super powerful. You will have regulated appetite, which goes with that. There's two hormones that play a role depending on whether you're going to feel satiated or keep eating, depending on sleep. Lack of sleep is actually a stress response, and the body thinks it needs to go into emergency mode and hold on to fat because there's a problem. That's how it looks like. It's fascinating to understand that. Emotional integration. If you are struggling to feel that you can think straight, if you are feeling like, I'm just never feeling like I can relax and just enjoy, these things are linked with sleep, because we integrate at night on a deep level more than we actually understand. And I certainly feel it's without us even needing to understand. Experiment with it. The better you sleep, the better your mindset will be naturally. Things that will normally seem really stressful can seem like, that used to stress me, but now I can deal with that. It's not a big deal. Literally. Memory consolidation as well. You might think, oh, I'm forgetting things. Well, it could be not because you're getting older, but because you have more stress and you're sleeping less. And after that, your memory is just fine. Really, truly. Because when we're stressed, we get scattered and we look for problems. And when we look for problems, we're not creative. We're not trying to remember much. We're actually in fight or flight mode, which is automatic. It's boom, 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 quick, quick, quick. So that's why memory is also be left behind, and the clarity of thought. What you will do, you will give yourself muscle and exercise recovery. So if you are someone that gets a lot of injuries and you're wondering why your joints are hurting and things aren't fixing, sleep. That's when the body does that stuff and fixes it. Clarity, peace, obviously that is linked with your mental state, overall health. So it's actually an overall thing, and it will represent differently for different people, depending on what's happening in your life, what your perhaps genetic weaknesses or strengths are, or if you're going through a divorce or moving house, all of that stuff. It makes a big difference. Increased productivity. Those of you that want to be more productive and think, well, look, I'm really going through a patch where I want to get all my stuff done. The sleep has to be a priority. A lot of times people do it the other way around. They think, oh, I've got to get my tax return done, or I've got to move house. And then they totally put sleep on the last part of their list. That's not the way. You will be more productive. You'll get it more done in a good way without mistakes if you include the proper amounts of sleep. Increase joy in the moment. If you get enough sleep, you will actually find yourself enjoying life rather than rushing through it. Literally, because you are able to be present. Now look at those gifts you can give yourself. And I would say, isn't that worth focusing on getting better sleep? Is there a big cheering? Yes, because that's how I feel 24/7 when I'm aware of these are absolute facts. This is not a theory or a hypothesis. This is the reality. So feel that as you connect with this, it will help you to actually implement some of the things I suggest. It will actually remind you, wow, take a photo of this thing. This is what I'm going to get if I make these little changes. Wow, I'm onto it, because it is. People that want to conceive and become pregnant will benefit from better sleep. People that want to up-level their business, people that are trying to figure out, do I want to get married or do I just want to stay single? All of those big things, those pivotal things, they are affected positively and aligning with your actual life that feels good when you've had that sleep. Without the sleep, you'll make the wildest decisions and wonder later on, what was that? Like when I had 3 children, which I still have, but when they were little, I noticed how much sleep deprivation was literally changing my personality. I was amazed that I could go for a while, and after a while, it was like, didn't feel like it was me anymore. All I could think about is, I need sleep, and someone has to help me out and just babysit. And it was like a desperation, and it was getting cranky, and all this stuff. And again, your parenting will improve as well. Big lesson with this, keep one spot for the picture. So another way of saying it, and the reason I start with this is because so that you stay with me, so that you watch the whole, what is this, a seminar tonight, so that you do take action. Action is going to be the thing that you want to do. So in another way, get sick less often, your immune system will be healthier. You will stay and balance into a healthy weight without having to do all these other stressful things of manipulating things, which often lead to weight gain. You will have less stress and be in a better mood. How good is that? You will reduce your risks of serious health problems like diabetes, heart disease, cancer. Literally. We could take all the supplements and try to do all these meditations, which is what I teach. But if we don't get enough sleep, the body will miss those cancer cells, and that's how they can get settled. And if it's a long-term sleep deprivation, so it is. And you can reverse this. That's the good news, by getting that sleep sorted. Reduce the risk of depression, of course, because you're integrating, you're working on your mental health. Reducing inflammation, 100%. It is going to reduce that. And think more clearly, have a better memory, and get along better with others. It's just another way of saying the same thing and looking at it more overall. You'll be also more creative. You have more creative solutions to your challenges in life. So how would you benefit from getting better quality sleep? How would you personally, at the end of this little video screen there, how do you feel you could benefit? Is there a place that you might enhance getting better sleep? Can you write down in your journal or in the chat box, how would better sleep actually enhance your life? Where do you think you could make the biggest difference right now? Just becoming aware of that for a moment. So either in the chat box or in your diary, because this will help you to literally take action afterwards. It's not just a fun talk, it's an inspirational action-taking night for you tonight, and I will be very happy to hear that. Clenching teeth, I've done that, and that's always a response of stress. So being conscious that you can relax and that you sleep well and rejuvenate, you can possibly even shift out of the grinding because you're aware of it. You can work with it. You're gonna just have so many benefits. It's literally endless. Staying young. I mean, everyone wants to stay young. So here we are. Okay. I love this. Here we're going to talk a little bit about the negative effects. I don't want to dwell on it too much. You can imagine if the benefits are so good, well, what happens when I neglect sleep? And the thing is, okay, because I don't know everyone and I could have been, 30, 40 people of all ages. young people, they are living off their youthfulness still. When we get older, it is more obvious. So kids might say, teenagers will say, well, actually teenagers need more sleep than anybody. And they generally get it as well. But often 20, 30-year-olds, they'll be like, I don't need that sleep. I'm looking good. I haven't noticed any health deficits, but they will be there and they will show up a bit later on. So you get poor balance, the coordination, so more falls, especially in older people. It's highly linked with those falls because of sleep deprivation. You can have higher risk of heart disease. It's definitely linked, and inflammation, increased blood pressure, all that kind of thing. And diabetes is positively linked with lack of sleep because we are actually regulating the appetite, and the hormones that are linked when we sleep will not be activated, and instead we put on weight and we are unable to manage our sugar levels. Really, really interesting stuff. So overall, a lack of optimized sleep will cost you not just time and money, but also your health. It will elicit at some point in time premature aging potentially. And even if you eat the healthiest of foods, if you are not functioning anatomically, physiologically, it's very much that your digestion of or the quality you get out of your food will be reduced as well. Because as we know, in a stressed response, the body doesn't prioritize on digestion and immune function. So let me ask the obvious question. Are you ready to harness the gift of your best possible sleep? And again, if you haven't done it already, write down the benefits you would get in your life. Become aware, either in your diary or in the chat box. Again, deepening your commitment. So there is another reflection here, and life will be reflected depending on your sleep quality. And by the way, if you're really good at sleeping right now, it will help you to understand people who are not, because insomnia is on the rise. Most people have experienced insomnia, at least 30% of people, and it's massively on the rise because of technology and the way we are living against nature. So it's going to be handy for you to understand perhaps your loved ones or a good friend to even understand and learn about this. Rapport and connection really works if in your business. People will prefer to work with you if you are rested. You're much nicer and you're more attractive to them naturally. And they will sense that as well. So you will make more impact in the world and have more success in what you want to do. You will enter what's called a flow state, which is achieved through relaxation, which is achieved through healthy sleep. I'm going to briefly only talk about this. Some things I'm going to skim over because you can ask more later, and I'm offering a second seminar which will go deeper. But I want you to just remind yourself that you have the nervous system which is linked with sleep. So it's called the autonomic nervous system. So it's in charge of, fight or flight. How are we going to, and it's a program inside you. They both have their place. There's nothing bad about either of them. And sleep is linked with these. That's all that I want to highlight here for now. And this is basically a very, very simple slide. Not simple. It's a big overview. I'm going to talk very simplistic about it. The parasympathetic nervous system is when you are going into healing, when you stimulate stomach activity, you release certain hormones for digestions. You basically are working to keep your body healthy. And then when you have the other activation of sympathetic, it's more about fight or flight. These things like digestion and immune function are inhibited. That's linked to stress. It's linked to lack of sleep. And running on coffee is not really a substitute. The other thing that I teach when you want to dive deeper is about vagal tone. So we actually work through the mouth and through the jaw with the longest nerve in the body called the vagus nerve. And this is linked with sleep as well. So sleep affects it, and the vagal tone affects your capacity to sleep. So if we regulate your vagal tone, which affects your heart, your liver, your gut, your brain, your mouth, your blood vessels, you will also get the benefit of better sleep. So if you've got a vagal tone issue, that could be explaining all your challenges, by the way, as an example. So I am specializing in breathing. That's one of my fields that I'm interested in. It's free. It's always available, and it overrides your state of consciousness. So if you want to get benefits of good sleep, my prescription is actually slow, deep breathing. It's super effective and the body responds. And I teach this. So this will affect your nervous system to slow it down, your state of being, the vagal tone. It affects your focus and the way in which you're present. We often think we're more present when we're really full of cortisol and excitement, but actually we're not. Our focus is just very jittery, and it's looking for problems to keep us away from and to keep us safe. When we are slowly relaxing, we're actually more present to a much wider spectrum of observation, and we take in more in our environment. Breathing will help you relax. It will affect your alertness. Like I said, it actually makes you more alert in a more helpful way. And the best part is something you can learn to control, which is super good. And you don't need any pills or drugs for that. So what else affects sleep function? Now I'm going to start talking about different aspects. So again, write it down. You can change things here. Light exposure is a key in helping you to sleep and in also sabotaging sleep. So morning light is really helpful to set your rhythm and to wake you up. If you have a hard time and you wake up groggy, like many of you have said in the jot form here, something some people do is really having a bright light and putting it near your face. Literally, it will have a massive effect. Like I've got a ring light ahead of me there because I'm doing this seminar in the evening. It is very stimulating. I'm gonna have to unwire that afterwards to get back into a sleep mode. It's actually not healthy for me, but I have blue light blockers for that sometimes. Other times I don't do so many evening seminars, but that light is keeping me very alert. So evening, in the evening, as it gets darker, that evening shift of light sends messages into your brain. So if you can observe the sunset, if you can observe the dimming of the lights outside, or create that dimming environment in your house, that's really going to help you. So I use a lot of salt lamps. I sometimes use what is it called? Candlelight, or you use really warm, dim lights. As soon as it's dark outside, let the house get cozy as well. Like the fireplace really helps with that. That sort of light is really conducive to our ancient programming of well-being and also embracing the night rather than going against it. Are you getting enough natural light during the day? There are some people that wear sunglasses even in the darker days when it's cloudy, or a lot of sunblock all the time. This can block your ability to be connected to the normal light rhythms, and actually getting real sunlight into your eyes really helps. That doesn't mean you're staring at the sun. We're not doing that, but being out there without sunglasses on and just being present, under a tree or walking across a street, letting that come into the body. Then there's artificial light. If you can reduce that, like I mentioned, there's these filters you can get on your laptops and on your TV, on your screens, those blue light filters and those orange lights, or you can get blue light blockers to wear if you want to. They're really cool. This will help you a lot. Because light will block the melatonin production, and that helps us to feel drowsy. It's straight biology. So can you reduce your artificial light? Is that a thing you could look at? This could be a small hack, and that might be really effective for you. And start to dim your house down 2 hours before you want to sleep. This is another thing. I may say things earlier than are in my seminar, but I want you to know this is key. Sleep is actually a process, and it's 2 hours. Some of us don't realize it, and we think, oh, well, it's time to go to bed, and I'll talk more about the timing of it. I've got some really good information to share about how to set your timing so that you catch your sleep wave. So sleep is actually a 2-hour process. So if you want to go to sleep at 11, I would suggest latest by 9, you are aware of what will nurture your sleep process. So tips for evening light management is using a dim lamp. You can even put red light bulbs into the room, especially if you're in a bedroom. Orange or red really helps. Avoid looking at the screens as much, smartphones and all that. So when you read a book, by the way, reading it with natural light is better than reading it on something where you have a lot of artificial lighting, interestingly enough. You could use a sleep mask at night or a fabric to cover your eyes so that you don't get any external light interfering. If, for example, there's cars that bring light into your bedroom, or you can get light blocking curtains for your bedroom. Sometimes that makes a big difference, and you don't even realize that wakes you up at 4 a.m. when you're not ready yet. This could be a thing why you wake up at night and then feel all groggy, because we wake up, it's a micro interruption, and we go back to sleep, and it can disturb the sleep cycles. So let me go. I'm moving relatively fast because I have a lot to teach. So what else affects sleep? Our function. You probably know that, but what you eat and drink can either support sleep or limit sleep. So there's two sides to the coin, as always. It's not all bad news. You can use things in either way. So you would know already, reducing stimulants like coffee, tea, chocolate, sadly, and energy drinks. Ideally, if you want to be ideal, have none. If you really have sleep issues, and reset and find out how much you're suppressing your actual tiredness. But otherwise, try to stop after midday if you can. And why have none? Because it's masking your body's message of how tired you really feel. So often we don't realize we actually are really, really tired, and we need a week of just healthy sleep. And I help people to reset that. Sometimes people are in such a habit of being, going to sleep at 12. They don't even know how to begin to go to bed at 10 and have a routine and to switch that whole cycle around. It's not always easy. Sometimes it means we have to work with a bit of sleep deprivation, so that when they want to go to sleep at 10, they are really literally saying, I just want to sleep, that's it. And then we make sure we eliminate all the stimulants so they can really start to reset that pattern. And there is various techniques for that. And after 7 days or even less, it'll be done. So food and drink continued, late night eating. So the later you eat, without being hungry in bed will not help. So if you try not to eat like an hour before dinner, but 2 hours before night, or 3, that's really good. Wine, it will help you to feel relaxed, but it causes low quality sleep. So you end up feeling more groggy and not so rested in the morning. You're missing out on the deep wave sleep, on the REM sleep, and the integrations of those levels when we have wine, alcohol. Fatty foods as well, you probably have noticed it feels not very good. It can cause you indigestion, which will wake you up at night as well. So like I said, initially they help you to fall asleep, you feel drowsy, but it is a nervous system depressant, just like sleeping pills, and they often mean that you get low quality sleep, and then you end up feeling bad and you don't feel good. Like I said, the first 2 cycles of REM are suppressed. This is real science. People have taken alcohol and been studied. I've done sleep studies like that. It is a real fact. The sleep cycles are deeply changed with alcohol. Here's something to remember, sleepfoundation.org. What affects sleep function? Even for women, less than 1 drink is affecting your sleep quality by 9.3%. And it goes up here, of course, moderate 24%, and more 39.2%. It's worth to keep that in mind. If you haven't noticed, try to not have the alcohol and see what happens, or figure something out that you might be able to replace it with. So yes, right. And I'm going to address people that find it easy to fall asleep. You don't have to read this. But when we exercise, sometimes we get exhausted and we can fall asleep easily, but then we were overstimulated way too close to bedtime. They have generally, at the moment, research is agreeing that exercise should not be too late and not too vigorous. So an evening stroll after dinner is great, but not starting to go to the gym late at night and then hoping to sleep instantly. That apparently is not the ideal way to doing it. And again, that can be adjusted to your needs and whatever it is that you are, how your lifestyle is. So more on what affects your sleep function, write notes, get this stuff down. This is really good. So the food types, there are some that actually, yes, was someone trying to make a comment? I heard, is all good? Yes. Okay. So we've got circadian rhythms that affect your diet. So I'm gonna have to just explain that some of us will get really sleepy. It's natural to be sleepy at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. And therefore it's a good idea not to eat a heavy meal around that time. It'll just add to that natural slump. And you can work with those circadian rhythms by avoiding heavy meals at particular times, especially if you are needing to work and function. So we can optimize that. They say that the Mediterranean diet is most supportive. So, those salads, high level of fruits, depending on your lifestyle. I'm not recommending if you're diabetic, you must navigate that yourself. But in general, there is always a lot of debate about this. Don't take this as concrete advice. Find out what works. Things that actually trigger sleep apparently are cherries, fatty fish, kiwi fruit, lettuce, it's got tryptophan in it, tart, cherry juice, and walnuts. Things that promote sleep are melatonin, vitamin D. So again, that's sunlight, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, GABA, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Magnesium is a big one. If you're not taking any magnesium and you want to adjust your sleep and explore it, huge. Okay, huge. So sometimes that's what it is. Most of us are magnesium deplete, and because of that, we are basically having issues with sleep because it is helpful. So is there someone that's not muted? Can you check, share? Oh, I guess I can't unmute people, can I? Let me just check.
You'll have to mute them. Yeah.
There's someone unmuted. I will just mute for now. Okay, got it. I hope I did the right thing. Okay, oops. Let me get this out. Trust that you know best. Okay, I think this is really important. Write down which foods give you indigestion. Write it down. Have a little journal from today. What is actually working, the pros and cons for you, and try to avoid things that give you indigestion. Maybe late night ice cream, those sugar things, late night, the irritations that don't feel good in the morning, so that you can consciously shift that and change that if you want. Write down foods that you want to increase so that they can support you, like whole foods or cherry juice, which is super yummy. Sleep hygiene. How are you with your knowledge there? I'm going to give you a lot of information. Like I said, I'll go into more detail. I help people to personalize this. So I want to share a lot. I'm trying to do my best. Room temperature. Also, you can listen to my podcast. We have the links at the end, and there's a lot of information like that there. So room temperature, the cooler your room is, the better. It's better to have extra blankets that you play with. Cool, about 18 degrees or so is one of the best temperatures. Fresh air. Checking out the sound isn't too bad. Someone snoring or neighbors, or maybe earplugs, or limiting them being in a space where you're not disturbed by that. The bed quality, if you've got a really good bed and good pillows that match, which is written there for neck comfort, it can make a big difference to the body feeling relaxed and actually going deeper rather than feeling uncomfortable. The type of blankets you use that are going to help you regulate the temperature, because if you have synthetic stuff, it's really hard. You end up sweating and feeling bad. Things that are easy to air. Pajamas, again, I say buy yourself the great silk or cotton or bamboo stuff. It'll be so much better. Getting rid of clutter. It's a mental space, making it a sanctuary. And again, lighting salt lamps, red light bulbs. If you're in a relationship, I often advise people separate blankets, eye pillows that help with the keeping things dim. Certain herbal teas can help, and essential oils there. I've listed chamomile, sage, lavender, marjoram essential oil is powerful. Keeping the temperature down, earplugs, listening to a guided meditation. There's also white noise, if you can explore, that can help a lot, or nature sounds like rain on YouTube, whatever feels right for you. Good dinners that are sustainable stress release practices. Anything that gives you stress, decide to let go of it before you sleep. So certain stress release practices can be breathing, just doing a slow breathing practice, journaling, getting rid of all those unwanted thoughts, just putting them on paper, out. Gratitude reflections, very powerful. A body scan for relaxation. What's really good and easy, all of this might be a bit more effort. This is a really good one. A shower or a bath before bed is very powerful. It works and it works. One really good one, because as the body gives you the message to go to sleep, it actually has to go to sleep. It has to go from a hotter temperature to a cooler one, which tells the body it's ready to go to sleep. So to come from that hot shower into the cooler bed is a great signal to your brain to say time to sleep. Guided nostril awareness. If you breathe through the left nostril, by the way, by blocking the right, you will calm down. That's a sign of breath. It just works this way. Longer exhale than inhale. If you like the idea of working with the breath, make your exhale longer than the inhale. You will end up finding it easier to fall asleep. Again, I would explain that more in longer seminars. There is something you can Google, which is called the art of napping and a caffeine nap. That's a new trend. People have a coffee, they lie down and have a 10-15 minute nap. By the time they wake up, they're refreshed, and the coffee gives them just that edge, and that can work really well for people. It's interesting. Then there are special journaling prompts like how can I allow myself to relax? What things am I worrying about? There is a whole field that I've gone into and can help you with to get those journaling prompts. So now let me talk about chronotypes. I will only brush over that because that is not a science. It is an observation that is general. We sometimes have more than one chronotype as well, but it's just to bring some awareness into yourself. So we've got circadian rhythms, which are different than chronotypes. They will be more going with the sleep-wake cycles. That's where jet lag comes in, and we can shift that as well. And chronotypes are more a way in which you relate to your circadian rhythms, whether you're a morning person or a night person and all this kind of thing. And you can look into this online. There's a lot of cute stuff and little surveys. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but they will notice that how you relate to time. I'm not going to get into big detail, but there is the lion, the dolphin, the wolf, and the bear. And they will help you actually to identify when your most productive time is. And you might be, in a relationship with a bear and you're a wolf and you never understand each other. And it will help you to navigate your different patterns in when you are most active. Like the bear, which is 55% of the population, according to this research. They like to go to bed at 11. They are feeling refreshed at 7 in general. And their main focus is generally 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's actually me. Happy-go-lucky, mellow energy, that's me. I'm very much. So schedule meetings in the morning, try to finish before late afternoon. Things like this are very helpful, right? I'm not going to go into these details because I can see we're running out of time already. Yeah, we only have 20 minutes and I want to give you so much more. So you can look this up. This is the same thing about the bear now and how that works, but you've already got that those details because I've given you the summary on that little cute little bear picture card. So then there is the wolf. 15% roughly of the population. They go to bed 12, they generally midnight, they wake up 7:30 and their focus is strongest between 5 p.m. and actually midnight. Very interesting. Some people like that, I do. And they are just functioning better then. So get ahead on work at home while you're feeling most awake. So it's just something to be aware of and to navigate. Let me just release this down. Beautiful. It's all playful. Again, it's the same thing, just with a bit more writing, how you might want to unwind at 9 or 10 so that you between 10 and you start to prepare for bed for someone of that nature. These chronotypes can be changed, but they're hard to change. It takes a bit more effort there. The lion, 15% of the population, again, they tend to like to go to bed around 10, a bit earlier. They tend to wake up earlier. Their best productivity is 8 a.m. to 12. They naturally love to lead, charismatic, early risers. Let's go. So know when it's time to quit and take time for yourself. Don't keep pushing on and on and on. Very cute. It's good to know. Again, that's the same stuff, just a little bit more detail. And the dolphin, 10% of the population. So these people tend to go to bed roughly and benefit from 11:30. They wake up 6:30. Focus is mostly between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. That is what I find most interesting. Notice when you tend to you naturally want to focus more and get work done and tune into that, acknowledge that, and book your important stuff into that. And either side, do the less important stuff. Again, productivity break, take breaks throughout the day, and mentally rest and recharge, which goes for all of us, actually. So every chronotype will have its own strength and weakness. Knowing when you're most productive will really help. And just don't be fixated on it. Be playful with it, I would recommend. It's just noticing. So now I'm going to say again, when you sleep, there's a deeper level than that. You also readjust your DNA, proteins. You actually detox. The biggest brain detox happens at night. Super interesting. I got a whole podcast on that, and literally detoxing. It integrates your biochemistry, it helps your neurology, your psychology, and it consolidates your experience so you are fully functional the next day. Briefly, look at this cutie. I'm going to go into the stages of sleep. As a sleep scientist, it's not long. It's called a sleep architecture in science. And you have all of these stages you go through every night. Okay, it doesn't matter what they are right in this moment. The point here is that I want to make is that it's a 90-minute cycle. And this is where I want to get a practical tip. You will have those waves every 90 minutes. So at night, if you miss that wave, be aware that if you ignored your sleep, you will probably have another deep sleep invitation 1.5 hours later, and try to catch that. It makes it really hard if we keep ignoring that. And this also helps you, by the way, to set your time for your alarm when you want to wake up. So this is called a hypnogram. I work with that stuff. When we assess sleep at night, we look at the different stages and how the person's going into wakefulness, rest, and N1, N2, N3, and how you come out to become wakeful. And those cycles repeat every 90 minutes at night if they are healthy, if you haven't taken alcohol or waking up with nightmares. And this is what this kind of work looks like. We analyze those. There are specialists that look at these details to assess that and link that with life. Again, there's great infographics you can Google to connect with that. If that really gets you fascinated and it will help you, that stuff is also on Pinterest, where I've got a Pinterest page on sleep, and other places where you can really look into it and get to know yourself on a deeper level. So if you go to bed at 10:30 and fall asleep at 11, your ideal time to wake up is around 7.5 hours later, because once you fall asleep, it's going to be 90 minutes, and then there'll be a slight dip. That's when it's easy to wake up with noise and with other things. Then you're going to enter another 90-minute cycle and another 90-minute cycle and another one, right? The reason I'm mentioning this is because if you put the buzzer on and go back to sleep when your 90-minute cycle has finished, and we've all done it, I'm sure, because I have, you actually feel refreshed, and then you go, another half an hour, you feel horrible. Horrible, 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 because you have ended another cycle and you've gone into REM sleep or whatever it is, and it feels really, really painful to wake up from that. So keep that in mind. When you feel refreshed at 7, it's probably a good time to get up then, unless you want to go until 8:30. So there's ways to calculate that, and these are really good hacks. So if you want to wake up at 7, you can work backwards, saying, okay, my alarm is at 7, and go back by those 90-minute cycles. So I need to go to sleep at, say, 11, which means I want to start preparing for sleep around 9 o'clock. After 9, I'm not going to do certain things. And after that, I'm going to basically honor my sleep so I can really enjoy the depth of it. Makes a huge difference, by the way. So I've already said all of those things. So I'm not going to go into that because I just want to teach you everything I can. These will be habits. They take time. Okay, so it's not going to happen overnight, but you'll be surprised within 3 days. You can reset your circadian pattern and go to bed at different times. And the only thing is, once you change it once, it again takes about 3 days to set it again. So it takes discipline to navigate that. I've already said that: hot bath, hot shower. Sometimes I repeat because we have a bit more time. Journaling about your worries. I've said this one already too. Herbal teas, I've mentioned. Magnesium, sometimes it's good to repeat. Breath work, journaling. I'm very happy having a consultation, finding out, where are you sabotaging where can you, because you might go, this is overwhelming, where do I even begin, right? So I make this assessment, you get a file to fill in, and we will look at where you're probably sabotaging the most and where you could shift into better sleep. Reading before bed is good, like I said, but not on electronics. So try to use things that are dimming the light. Make it fun and enjoyable, not a stressful thing. This is going to be playful and fun. Write down right now what you can realistically change, what you can realistically do, whether that's having a shower before bed. Also, try not to drink 2 hours before bed. Otherwise, you have to go to the toilet. Little things like that can make a huge difference. Get a better mattress, get some silky pajamas, get some light blocking curtains. Things like this can make a big difference. What could you potentially do? So my next masterclass, I will talk about that, vagal tone exercises, which benefit you. Thinking about what you like can benefit you. There are so many things. Finding out why you sabotage. So, for example, some people had a bad childhood experience with sleep. Their parents were strict or they didn't enjoy sleep time. And that can still be running the show when we're an adult. And then we can look at that. I'm very powerful with that work. That's how I help a lot of women get rid of blocks that are not shifting. They're usually programmed in from childhood. And no matter what you do, they're going to keep coming back while they're sitting there like that. Your body is amazing is the message here. If you'd like more information, this is what I'm offering. And then I'm basically got another masterclass, and you can get information on that. Let us know. I'm offering you a nice discount, and I've got a lot of places where you can find me, where you can listen to my podcast as well. And I will be giving a lot more lectures of this in this format. And I think that's it. I think I've actually... Yeah, this is what you will learn in masterclasses, how to understand your chronotypes more, how you navigate deep-seated patterns because you're going a bit deeper, how to make it personal, etc., etc. And of course, you can help your loved ones as well. And there will be Q&A. And so I want to give you time and a PDF. I want to give you time now for some questions as well. But in my next seminar, there will be more on this. And you can see I've got a lot to share. And I'm going to leave it at that and see if there's questions, Sharon. And I'll probably have to unmute you because that would surely help.
Okay, I unmuted myself.
Awesome.
You can take a breath. That was so much information. That was
it is so much, and there's more. This is
so interesting. And I think for all of us, we probably need to go and reflect on it. But there was a really great question in the chat, and actually, I'm personally interested because my brother is a terrible sleeper, and I often wonder a lot about how the more you tell yourself that you're a terrible sleeper, the more you, and Harpreet had asked a great question, and now I've lost it. Okay, she supports mothers through, I don't know what that mattress sense, and often they suffer from sleep anxiety in fear of not getting sleep. And I think that's exactly my brother's, Renee had asked this question. Renee, did you want to?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
Sorry.
So where the question comes from is matrescence is essentially the transformation from woman into motherhood, and it's a fairly unknown area of science at the moment. But I guess my question comes from, I support a lot of those women in that transformation, and a lot of the tips that you've given us tonight are fantastic in terms of the rituals, routines that they could put in place to try to help them to sleep. But as soon as baby wakes, they're going to be up, they're going to be stimulated, that nervous system is going to kick in. And I know when I was, when my kids were really young, they're 5 and 3 now, the fight or flight response just meant that I would be awake for hours ruminating on the fact that I wasn't getting sleep and I was going to have to get ready for the next breastfeed. So I don't think it's a solvable issue. I guess I'm just putting it out there as to see if you've got any specific.
Yes, I do. Thank actually. One of the things I did and I would highly recommend is learning how to nap. And learning how to nap and take that time. It's an art form. And some people say, I can't nap. Yes, everybody can power nap 20 minutes, not too long, and putting it in there and making it a priority, because we can make more mistakes. We can be a terrible parent. We can go nuts. We can get even worse postnatal depression. And you also touched on what other people have said, which is the idea that we get more stressed. We're not getting to sleep, and then we're getting stressed lying there. So one of the important things is really, when that happens, we need to tell ourselves and work with the unconscious stress, because I've gone through that until I've done all my training in NLP and hypnotherapy and breathing and sleep research. We need to realize that we cannot stress about sleep, because that's the exact kryptonite. It will never work. So the idea is, no, whatever happens tonight, it doesn't matter. I'm going to write down all my fears and worries. I'm going to have that bath, and I'm going to learn to make a habit. Now with kids, that's different. With hormonal changes, it's different. But then you can say things like, I'm going to nap. If I don't get sleep tomorrow, I'm taking a day off work. I'm going to pay for a babysitter, and I'm going to have a bit of a nap, because, it's putting things in place so that you can actually get through it. Because I know motherhood is the hardest, because kids are unpredictable and it can be absolutely relentless. And so can hormonal changes into menopause. And so the idea that people are stressed is what will actually often make it far worse. So this is where the breathing comes in, the journaling comes in, forgiving ourselves for not getting to sleep, having something as a backup the next day if we've had a bad sleep, so we don't think the world is going to end if we don't get that sleep, and asking for help as well, support, and so many things like that. I hope that helps, but definitely the worry about sleep is essential to be addressed, because that is what keeps people. I want to add one more thing here. This is really powerful. Many people don't know this. When you can't go to sleep after half an hour and you're still lying there, it's really important to come back up and become vertical. So sitting up, okay, because the body will go, okay, she's up now. Do something for 10 minutes. Just keep it dim and simple, not exciting and flashlights on. Maybe go to the bathroom, maybe get a warm water, very little bit, not too much. And then when you come back, you go back horizontal, right? And what happens is, what happens is the body sends another message to the brain saying, so we've gone up, we've done what we've done because we couldn't sleep. You go horizontal, there's a new release of chemistry, and then you stay horizontal. Don't go up and read a book sitting halfway up. Once you're horizontal, stay horizontal, and sleep will be easier to trick in. You can also block the left nostril and breathe through the right. I've got so much you can do. When you're lying there, breathe through the right, breathe through the left nostril to stimulate the right brain hemisphere. Look at it this way. You want to deactivate that rational analysis of the left brain, and then the breath goes across diagonally. So if you want to activate thinking, you breathe through the right. If you want to activate a relaxation, you want to breathe through the left and block the opposite. This is great. Try it out. And if you make your exhale longer than the inhale, you will also. So if you lie there and you say counting in 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I promise you, do that for 3 minutes. You won't even notice you've fallen asleep, because the body through the breath will go, I'm not in fight or flight. I'm switching into that relaxation response. And it will help you. It will bring those chemicals in, all that stuff resets, and these are great tips. This is why I get really hot and passionate about this.
I literally did it was even on a Zoom like this, and Sabine ran, it was about 7-minute relaxation thing with breathing and that technique. And I could not believe the difference that it made to my day just from doing that. So Renee, it'd be really good for you to connect with Sabine. There might be some things that you guys can chat a bit more about, and how she might be able to help you with these mothers.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you. Great tips.
Yeah, great specific,
Yes.
masterclass, for women with these problems, because many of us have been there. So just going back,
love that.
yeah, so that's really helped, Sabine. That question about, well, obviously your question, Renee, but mine was with my brother, because he keeps saying to himself over and over, I never sleep, I never sleep, I never sleep. So, but interesting what you're saying about childhood. I never would have thought about that potential connection there. That's really interesting too.
Yes. So first of all, he's affirming it. Secondly, he's anxious about it. Thirdly, he's probably not looking for solutions because he's given up. And fourthly, he might have a pattern where his parents or someone said, oh, you never sleep, you just don't sleep. And he got away with it. And now he's doing it and he can't get away with it anymore. He needs more sleep. He's overwired now and he's made it a pattern. Yes. And that's where people can go back to finding out, where did this pattern start? Why did it start? Oh, we were moving house, or I lost my pet. And ever since then, or I thought I saw a ghost in the cupboard. And ever since then, and it's just going, it's not rational. And so, yes, it's worth looking at why he believes this and since when. And for anybody, it's really interesting stuff. Yes.
I'll definitely get him to talk to you.
Yeah. Apparently I have sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
One with it is that when I don't use the CPAP machine, I sleep all night. When I do use the CPAP machine, I wake up half a dozen times, getting all knotted in the wires and the tubes. So I just have to stop using it. It just drives me nuts.
It's a common complaint. That's not my specialty, but I believe that we're going to have to evolve there with that technology. It seems really outdated and disturbing. And some people,
it is disturbing.
Yeah, that's right. So you're feeling, oh, and unless you're probably completely knocked out, it's going to keep your, and you also know you could get tangled up, which keeps your safety mechanisms up, thinking, am I actually safe to fall asleep? What happens now? So it's really, to me, quite shocking. I'm hoping they will have some breakthrough there. And it's not my specialty because that's an own study of its own. But yes, I hear you there. That sounds
Carolyn, I've got a client that I'm working with at the moment, and he has a CPAP machine. And one of the things that he, apart from, like you said, getting tangled up in the machine at night, or it's fallen half off his face, he said, like, one of the problems that keeps him awake is worrying about, strangling from the machine. So it causes him anxiety from the machine. So yeah, it's a tricky one.
And so what happens is, right, and this is my issue with science, the scientists get in there and they go, oh, but this will help your lungs and this will keep your oxygen levels up, but they're not realizing this is a human with emotions and the noise that comes with it, and also the weirdness of having things over your face. We have to integrate that and work with that. And I'm hoping that, so I guess you could work on it on a hypnotic level. You could work on it in setting it up and convincing yourself that it's okay, even if it disconnects, you'll be okay. It could remind you of having been in a hospital and being on a drip, and the mind is so complex. You could look at what else is playing along and realizing, okay, this is a benefit and I really need it so that I'm not groggy. And so mind over matter can be effective, but it requires probably all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it wasn't actually, it didn't make you feel any better. So it wasn't worth the
wasn't worth
it after a while that it wasn't worth the the whatever,
the suffering.
One of the things that has hit me during the things you've said, there are two things that seem contradictory.
Okay, go for it, let me know.
So when you were talking earlier about when you wake up, if you can have a bright light or something like that, you'll wake up better
in the morning, early in the morning. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But then you say to black out your windows.
That's if the light disturbs you. So if you are sleeping and you're on a night shift person, or you're in a room and the lights are coming in from the street at night, or the moon is shining into your room, then you block out the windows. But then when you want to wake up, of course, you can open them up, you can put in a light, you can get the sunlight, you can sleep. If you want to go with the sun rhythms, then keep your windows open. But some people have terrible street lights, or the neighbor is reversing in the lights. That's what I have in my bedroom. And when they reverse into the driveway, it goes straight into my bedroom. So I'm
on the fourth floor. And there is not another building that can see into our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They'd need one of those telescope things. So I never close my curtains. I never close my blinds. I don't have drape curtains. I just have fluffy white.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty things. But I love that in the morning.
Yeah.
Though the difficulty, of course, is in Melbourne winter, if I wake up and the sun is shining on my face, I wake up well.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up and it's grey,
It's right.
So good.
That's right. And that's where a light could help. That's what people need in Europe as well, especially in the UK. They get depressed. They can't work on their circadian rhythm. There's only so much daylight. That's where you can buy artificial lamps that are designed for that, or just get anything you like. And that's what I'm so happy about. And I would definitely do it, because it can lead to this sluggishness, this depressed feeling. And we naturally need that light. And so it's realizing that, and maybe investing in something like that for you, if you feel resonant. Yes.
Great question.
That's not a contradiction anymore for you. Do you see what I'm saying?
I know. It's just,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's just that it's never dark. It's never completely dark in my house. And
Maybe that would be something to try.
Well, I don't know how I'd make it completely dark without feeling like I was cutting off my air.
Your connection. Well, maybe an eye pillow is something you could explore.
I got a few of those. Just have to remember to put it on.
Yeah, have fun. This is all. That's why I said earlier, we must have fun. It's not going to be a serious thing. Put an eye pillow on, take it off, make it a funny one. Have it. There are such great eye pillows out there, and just have some fun exploring it. And you might notice a big difference, or you might say, I also don't like that. It's
even. I know this sounds really stupid, but I got one of those really amazing memory foam chiropractor pillows. That made a huge difference to my sleep when I got a really good pillow.
I got one of those a few months back.
Some of the little things can make a difference.
Yes,
I used to sleep on my stomach, which nobody likes except for me. And the osteopath and all the rest, you've got to try not to do that. And I got one of those pillows, and it made a massive difference.
Yeah, awesome.
I can sleep. I sleep on my side now, and it's not an issue.
And that's why I mentioned the pillows and the mattresses, and it's a whole money industry now, by the way. So be discerning. Some people are pillow and bed specialists. In the end, you have to choose what works. This is a big thing now, because most people have insomnia. So yeah, but definitely pillows make every difference. So the body can relax and go deep, and you get all that human growth hormone. You get all that spinal alignment. The body doesn't think, I'm actually very uncomfortable, but I better just sleep. It's massive. If you can afford it, adjusting that is great.
I'd gone the other way, to be honest. My bed was very high, and I just had a hip replacement, and I've got 2 knees to be done in the next several months, and my bed was too high. So I got rid of the mattress, went to Clark Grubber, and got the thinnest firm foam I could to bring the height down so I could get in and out. And it's awesome.
It's like a futon, which is great.
It's the cheapest mattress I've ever had. And really good.
See, it's great. I love that.
There's just another question here, and I don't know why everyone's coming up with the name Michelle Gleason on this thing, but anyway, I don't know whether it was Harpy or is that you, Sam, down the bottom? No. Sorry.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, hi, Sam. Is that your question there, Sam?
The narcolepsy one. Yeah, that was mine.
Okay, so Sabine, there's Sam's question. Oh, Sam, you ask it now that you're unmuted.
Yes, so I've had some issues which have come to a head of late, and there's a possibility that I might have, it's a pretty good possibility that I might have narcolepsy. So I know a lot of the strategies that you've mentioned, there's a few extra ones which were pretty cool that I wasn't aware of. But do you think if I was able to put these into place it has to be fairly strict because I'm so bad, and used all of them, do you think that could be quite beneficial to someone with narcolepsy?
Narcolepsy is also very interesting, and people don't really understand it. And I'm definitely not an expert on it. That's something I wasn't even meant to look at in my PhD study. But I feel that you should trust yourself to apply, because all of these things will help with better sleep. And when they help with better sleep, no matter what's going on, things will start to improve as your sleep gets a little bit better, as your experience and relationship with sleep improves. So none of those can create a negative effect, which is good. I'm not giving you a pill where you will get this benefit, but also that. So for me, the more you can enjoy and explore, the better. Make it into an exploration. And yes, I personally feel the more we give the body a chance to adjust, the more it's gonna thrive and gradually get better and better and better and better. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think there's, sorry if I can just jump in. Part of that issue, Sam, I think is the same as what we're talking about before with Renee, with my brother actually, is the more that you tell yourself, oh, I've got narcolepsy or I can't sleep, that's
the mind.
I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, but the more you tell yourself that, the more that's going to be the case. So it's actually working on those affirmations of, I'm looking forward to, getting a better night's sleep, or whatever it is, like telling yourself what you want, and then looking also at the strategies to put in place. Like, I think that's a really big thing. Like, I'll just give you a different example. But I've got a client who was diagnosed recently with something called social pragmatic disorder. What even is that? And I said to him, oh, okay, how does that sit with you? And he said, well, it does explain a few things, but the brain's a muscle, and I want to actually, I'm not going to let that become a crutch, I suppose.
My label.
I want to try and actually, a label, exactly. So I don't want to go, oh, I'm someone with social pragmatic disorder, so I can't connect with people in social situations.
So it's locked in.
How can I get better? And it's amazing, even with something we were discussing on a call yesterday to do with his wife and some travel and so on, that what I said to him, do you know that what you just did was actually completely the opposite of someone with social pragmatic disorder? So I think maybe it's a little bit about, thanks, Harpreet, great to catch up with you. So yeah, Sam, like, I know maybe that's even like a really important starting point, is going, okay, like, I obviously do have trouble sleeping, but I'm making a decision right here, right now, putting a line in the sand. I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to work on getting better and better at this. And that, honestly, that mindset is a big part of it. And then it's obviously working on the strategies as well.
Yeah, and feeling that support and knowing there can be a difference, because honestly, I can tell you as a sleep scientist, they don't really know that much yet. And every person's going to be different. So don't get bogged down into fear, and see the fun and the possibilities. And I'm not saying be fluffy and have purple and sparkly unicorns, but I'm saying your body is a repairing machine 24/7. It is so powerful, and it will respond to anything positive like that you can put in place. Small things will make a difference.
Something else that can be good too is if I get people in the morning to say what it is you want, like I'm looking forward to, and you can do it in the evening, whatever, getting a good night's sleep. But then I also get them to figure out, okay, what went well with your sleep tonight? Like, let's look for the wins, no matter how small, even if it meant, okay, I slept for 5 hours instead of 4. Like that, even that's an improvement. Like every little improvement that you make, if you're celebrating those wins or noticing those wins, it kind of helps to break that cycle a little bit.
Yeah, it's a big learning ground, that's for sure. It's a tricky one when you get to the point of being so exhausted that you can't actually do anything, and collapsing constantly throughout the day because you're so tired. It's just got to go back to ground one and ground zero, and start again, and maybe
Well, that's why I'm initiating things like sleep retreats for people, so that people can actually go away for 7 days. They're completely guided, and it's all set, and they can reset and have the support to actually feel supported, and also to feel they can handle it in the right environment, and then take it back home, because it is hard. Like you said, you're already tired. You're already feeling, oh, now I'm supposed to have the energy to change things that have become a habit and that are really... I get it. But even things like noticing if you take any stimulants, or if you could have that shower the night before, if you could have 2 hours before you go to bed, or whatever that is, find the little gems inside that you can do, because I know there's some that you can do. Getting out in the morning, making sure you get that morning light, making sure you limit it in the evening, even though they say you've got this and that and this, all those things will contribute to balancing that out, guaranteed.
Just one last question, Sam. How are you going with like nutrition and gut health? Because they do play a much bigger role than people realise.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's probably I'm So it's a Ferris wheel, go round and round and round. So it always comes back to me being too tired. I'll do a bit of work here, then I just get tired, and I've had a few sleeping issues dealt with, and I've gotten better and healthier, and then sort of work on other bits and pieces, and then sort of go downhill again with sleeping, and just a big big churn. So
vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's pretty sort of bad at the moment.
And
I
that's
apologise for being late. Sorry.
Sam, if you want to chat with me a bit more about that side of it, I mean, obviously you've got lots of great tips and you can connect with Sabine, but maybe I can help a little bit more on the nutrition side. If you want to chat with me, you can just book in.
Oh, look, I definitely need to. I'm probably going to take next week off work because it's getting very embarrassing. I'm collapsing all the time at work. So I've got a number of specialist appointments I need to make. So I'm probably going to take a week off just to try and get them sorted. So yeah, I'll probably be around this week.
Sounds like you need to go on a sleep retreat with Sabine.
It does. That sounds lovely. Sorry, I did miss out on the first bit because I had a bad day today. But yeah, I actually will look into that. That sounds like it could be very beneficial for me.
I'm not offering them yet, but I will, and they will be there in a hotel. Would you believe it? There's a place in Cairns that has collaborated with me in Palm Cove, and they've set up the whole amazing place called the Reef House to have everything aligned for optimizing sleep.
I actually just came back from a holiday and we stayed in Palm Cove. It was lovely there.
Oh, you were in the reef the Reef House?
No, we stayed at Palm Cove. I think it was called Palm Cove itself, but the name, it was a very big hotel that we sort of stayed in. But yeah, it was
I know, I've seen them, but there's one that they are passionate, they want to give back to people, and they want to offer that. I've written a sleep book, they've got their podcast uploaded, they've got everything set up, the candles, the essential oils, the herbal teas, so people can actually really go in. And I'm gonna be running retreats with them because it's already set up at some point to offer that to people who really just don't know where to begin, and they really just need to be taken. And you can go to swimming pool, you can just walk at the ocean, you can do your exercise, you can do massage, and you can learn all about sleep and integrate it. Oh, what bliss.
Well, you can book me in, I'm there.
Well, reach out so that we can be in touch if you want to learn. I think Sharon is giving you the links, and because I don't actually know how to reach you.
I've given those things that I sent you earlier had everyone's email addresses.
Perfect. And just reach out and I will keep you in the loop about it, because it's a beautiful way to shift. It doesn't always have to be torturous.
That sounds lovely. No torture.
In the meantime, it might even be worth just having
sleep is torture.
Sam, in the meantime, it might even be worth just having a consult with Sabine just to see if there's some things that you can put in place.
Yeah, I might do. I need to. Tomorrow's my day to plan and organise, and I'll probably send you an email tomorrow if that's all right, Sabine. And
please do.
Sharon. Thank you.
No, I can always share information, and I just believe it's a holistic thing. I believe that, like Sharon's saying, specialists will be great, but often it's like the little finger doesn't know the ear, doesn't know the eye, doesn't know the gut, and I feel like the more you do with it. Bringing that together will be great. Get the information, and then you will feel empowered however you resonate to put something together that works for you. It doesn't work for anyone else. It's for you and the situation you're in, and that will be powerful.
Yeah, 100%. I know my specialist, I always feel like I'm making it all up, and I have to convince him.
And that's not how it should be. It shouldn't be like that at all. This is very real for you, and this is the problem. I've had GPs tell women, you're making it up, you're just having a hormonal problem. I'm like, whoa.
Yep. Tired mum. Tired mum is what I've had.
No, you are under stress, and it gets worse and worse, and they don't realize it affects your whole life, and it's a downward spiral. And so, find a better doctor that understands that, because this is key. This is mental health stuff. This is everything. This is the root of your life. So, Really, don't let them put you down. There's one woman that's got chronic fatigue, and the natural therapist sees it. The doctor says there's no such thing, and you can't have adrenal fatigue. What are you talking about? But it's full science. They're just actually quite behind. I've studied this because I used to be such a full-on scientist. It's very disappointing that a lot of the research that we have now isn't implemented into the medical system yet. It's just not there. They're not taught to express it or honor that. So keep that in mind when you go out and spend thousands of dollars on specialists, and don't get too scared. Just trust your gut, trust your how you feel you can relax into it and start taking your steps. Yeah, that's all I can say. Trust yourself on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Beautiful words to hear, especially on a day like today. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
Sabine is beautiful like that. So yeah, you've got such a loving, supportive nature, Sabine. It's beautiful.
I love seeing women thrive. Yeah, look after you. And yeah, thank you. I guess we're going over time, but thank you, Sharon, for inviting me. You are awesome. High five. Sharon and I connected so easily. We're only six days apart in actual age and year and everything. So we've just got this.
And I'm a lion on the sleep thing as well.
Oh, how funny.
And
Yeah.
Sam lives walking distance from my house.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Sabine's in Adelaide, just so you know, Sam.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Yeah, you can't really tell when people are on Zoom, can you?
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like we're all next door when you're on Zoom.
I know. All right, well, we'll let you go to bed, Sabine. It's late over there. You need your 2 hours to wind down now.
I've got to get stuck into it, yes. So, but it has been such a pleasure, and I thank you for having me.
Really brilliant. Great tips. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Okay.
Let me know if you want to chat
Till
some
next
more,
time.
Sam. Okay,
See you.
thank you. See you.
Ciao. Now what I will do is I will stop the recording. Where is that? Oh, here. Okay.